Hello, I'm your Extracat, and it is hot in here. I'm gonna have to take off this jacket because of all of the takes that are gonna go down in this video, because Netherite is not that good. And it's okay to build from wood. I also think that when it comes to redstone contraptions, people think stuff like this is so cool, but it's actually probably better to build something more realistic and small. Also, there are some lazy people involved in the development of the game, but they're not who you think they are. Today, I figured it would be important to get out all of these controversial takes that I probably can't be sliding into every other video. We're gonna start with the regular old hot takes, but we're going to move into spicy and then volcano hot levels. We're going to get to the surface of the sun eventually even. It's going to be a lot of the fun, and I hope that you're looking forward to this one. But let's start with the Netherite thing so you don't feel clickbaited, because Netherite not being good is a bold claim, but that's not my full opinion. I think that Netherite is great for a sword or a pickaxe because it gives you more killing damage or more mining speed, the reasons that you use those things to begin with. Netherite armor, on the other hand, is near worthless. That is my claim, and let me back it up, because if you are getting to the stage where you're about to get Netherite armor, it's probably at the point where you have enchanted diamond already. And enchanted diamond armor, at the point where we are at, where we have so many mending villagers and so many ways to get that book, probably has mending on it already, which means that the only benefits of Netherite armor, which are meant to be increased durability, slightly depends on the gear, but it's still a great thing, and also knockback resistance, really goes down to 1, because you don't need increased durability if you've got mending anyway. Mending gold armor would be just as fine if it gave you more damage resistance, but that's not what Netherite armor does. It's just slightly increased knockback resistance, which just isn't very valuable. The only other thing that I guess you could argue is if you're going to die in lava, then maybe you would be able to benefit from picking up your stuff later, but most people have totems of undying, and so with all of the other trappings we have in a modern Minecraft world, you don't need Netherite armor, and if you're going to put all of that time into mining 16 ancient debris to make it, you'd probably be better off doing something else for most Minecraft players, especially if you're the sort of Minecraft player that thinks that a beacon is not a late game item. A beacon is one of the latest game items, and the fact that there's discourse around saying it's not is proof that some people have gone way too deep down the Minecraft rabbit hole. I love Minecraft as much as the next person, but a lot of the modern crop of hardcore survival YouTuber, there's like a dozen of them, say that the way you start a Minecraft world, episode 1, has to be going all the way to Netherite and beacons, and then doing some insane project like gathering every single biome and putting it in the end, and that is a possibility if you want with your first week of a Minecraft world, if you put a ton of time into it, but it's also not the realistic first day. Most people have never gotten to the beacon, and that sounds unbelievable, but the fact that, to prove that it's the latest game item Minecraft has, I went through the achievements. Here it is at the very top of the leaderboard with 60 gamer score. It is the achievement that Minecraft thinks is most unachievable, most rewardable for getting, and then they even tell you how many players have gotten it, 1.45%. I'll show you that on screen because no one wants to look at a phone through a video camera, but that is still insane if you ask me. The reality of this situation is that people think a beacon isn't late game because they play real fast and real hard, but the fact that 98.55% of players have never obtained one in legit survival proves this is still not just late game, but maybe even ultra late game content. There should be more things after the beacon, but you can understand why Mojang probably prioritizes things that more of their players will use. If you think about it, there's 300 million Minecraft players, and if we take this at face value, that means that only about, about 5 million of those have ever actually used a beacon in survival, whereas, hundreds of millions have used a donkey or one of these other ridiculous things that they come out with, which is why that it's important for them to do those. I guess a camel would be a better example. I bet there are tens of millions of players who have sat on a camel versus only 4 million who have used a beacon. Speaking of using a beacon, by the way, I think now is a good time to move up the take spiciness and talk about Mojang. At this point, it used to be controversial to criticize Mojang for anything, and I thought that was never fair. I thought that if you are developing a game, you are putting yourself out there as a company on a professional level. You can't just say you like Minecraft, therefore Mojang can do no wrong, but I hate the current community attitude of, well, Minecraft's great, but the developers are lazy. If you try to say they're doing anything great, you're just defending a multi-billion-dollar company. But no, I think there is room in between these things. I have to get closer to the wall here. I think there is room in between these things. By the way, do you like my new studio? It's here for these little fun face cam videos where I can talk about Mojang and the fact that there is a space in between hating everything they do and loving everything they do, which is being a realist. And right now, people are on the man, Mojang is so lazy hate train. But here's the deal: Mojang, so Mojang actually hires people. Here is a current senior software engineer. They hire people at insane salary ranges. This one is about $100,000 to $250,000 with an increase if you live in New York or San Francisco. They pay these people a lot of money, and presumably, if they're paying them the money, they give them some expectation. And if you think about it, if Mojang was full of just 80 people sitting around, not really doing any work till Tuesday, why would Mojang still be paying them so much money? Either they just accept that, yeah, it's worth spending $3 million a month on salaries and, the rest just works itself out, or they're getting exactly what they want. If Mojang looks lazy, it's not that the employees are lazy, it's that they're not being incentivized in the right way. Maybe they're rewarded more when they get some really critical marketplace fix out there than when they develop some great new feature. Maybe, instead of the incentives being make Minecraft the best game possible, nowadays the incentive system is somewhere else. And if you think about any other job out there, people follow incentives. If your boss rewards you and says good job and hires you again and continues to keep your contract going, then you probably are going to keep doing those things versus the things that you think are good for the game, but which your employer does not want. Mojang is not lazy, they have the wrong incentive system, which is either to preserve the game at all costs and really minimize additions that are potentially spicy, or they're going the other angle and they're just focused on all of the other means of revenue production, which isn't making Minecraft updates, it seems. Mojang needs to seriously work out what their goals are, and they need to communicate those goals clearly with us, the community, so we at least know what they're going for, rather than the current system where if you believe that they're trying to make Minecraft as good as it can be every single update and get as many features in there, then it looks like, wow, if you are spending millions of dollars a year on this, in fact, they're spending probably hundreds of millions by the time you include like staffing costs, all of the other things that go into this, if they're spending so much a year on all of these costs and they're getting 12 features in an update, then that is a failure on Mojang's behalf, but I don't think that that is a failure, I just think they have different goals. Speaking of different goals, what's the most OP item in Minecraft? People will complain all the time about elytras, or about mending, or about Netherite sometimes, but the joke's on them because Netherite, we've already discussed, is basically worthless. But I think that actually the most OP item is something no one ever mentions. It's the bucket. The bucket is Minecraft's most overpowered item because for just free iron, one of the cheapest recipes in the game, you get something which allows you to climb up, allows you to save yourself from any fall, allows you to go to the Nether, allows you to scoop up a friend, allows you to pour lava on another friend, or maybe enemy, and allows you to do all of that while also being just a single item that is cheap and easy to obtain in so many ways. And so I think that the bucket is OP, but I also am going to say, to add one more spicy take to this level, is the fact that actually Minecraft doesn't need to nerf it. Minecraft doesn't need to nerf anything, even though I think one of the things they're getting right with their new pattern is rather than saying let's nerf this, unless it's strictly for PvP reasons, and even then Minecraft is not a PvP game, so you could argue they could ignore that, but unless it's for strictly PvP reasons, Minecraft should not be nerfing. That is the big mistake they made with 1.9 and the new combat that some people still refuse to use. It's 2024, it's been almost a decade, and people are upset about one nerf from 9 years ago, so instead you buff everything else. Instead of saying that horses are so powerful because they fit in boats and let's not start that right now, shall we? But instead of saying that horses are so powerful because they fit in boats, make everything else more powerful. Make the boats maybe go faster by default unless you have a horse in there. Make it more, more valuable to use these other alternatives. Make camels better. Whatever you've got to do, make alternatives and let people use those. That is good game design. Bad game design is saying people are using things that are powerful, so we're going to break it. But for what it's worth, if you were going to have two OP things that you needed to nerf and break, here's what my list would be. In fact, I'm going to have to jump into Minecraft with this. Here's what my list would be.
Okay, I'm in Minecraft now, and I can show you precisely what is actually OP. If we had to do nerfs, then obviously the Elytra would have to be up there. It's so much better than every other form of transport by such a long shot too. You become a tiny hitbox, and you can fly real fast, and when you add in the firework rocket, you can cover almost unlimited vertical height, as well as going ridiculous distances, and fireworks themselves are kind of OP because they're so ridiculously cheap. They're near worthless as their actual use of being pretty things that you look up as they go into the sky, but instead they're incredibly useful for launching you around your world at ridiculously high speeds. They are so powerful that they basically just say, when you get to the late game, you deserve everything and anything you want, just like how fire resistance potions work. Did you know fire resistance will allow you to avoid lava, as well as magma, as well as lit fires? This means that you're effectively immune from a major source of death, a source of death so bad they had to make a whole set of tools for it. If you just drink this one potion once every 8 minutes, that is wild silly if you ask me. Speaking of wild silly, let's end up all over that village where it looks like there's some villagers who are having some issues, and let's talk about the fact that there is an insanely OP food, which obviously is basically every single one of them. Cooked beef and cooked pork chops are especially bad though, because they give you so much hunger and so much saturation that they make basically every other food not worthwhile. Why would you invest in making pumpkin pies when you just get a slightly worse version of the cooked beef? Why would you invest in going through all of the work to make rabbit stew when it's barely any better than cooked beef in one way and it's actually worse than cooked beef in another? Honestly, the only food that's even comparable to cooked beef is golden carrots, and I'm one of the very few people who actually uses that, and even then I just decide not really ever. Also, when it comes to mending, I think everyone knows the strong community opinions on that one, but efficiency is OP too. If you have an efficiency book, then you have the ability to make any tool go much faster, and that might sound like, yeah, that's the point of efficiency, but unlike, say sharpness, which is debatable whether you use that or Bane of Arthropods, I'm just kidding, but whether you use that or Up Smite is very, very useful. There should be, and the same thing with Fortune or Silk Touch, you have to decide between these enchantments. Efficiency is OP because there's no competitor to it, so it should either be less powerful to compensate, or it should be that there is a competing enchantment. I don't know which is better, but finally here, we've got the sunflower. The sunflower is mad OP because you can always find out which direction is east, of course, and you can do so even when you're deep underground. This is a compass that actually works and doesn't just point you to your ridiculous spawn. How incredibly useful. I can't believe they let the sunflower stay unnerved. Oh, they actually spawned down here. You know what? The sunflowers are so OP, they spawn underground sometimes when you need them to. And there's obviously one most OP item, but I think we can come back to that later because there's one item that truly has ruined the game more than any other. But for now, let's move into volcano spicy takes.
Okay, Volcano Take 1. I have to say, this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but please hear me out. If you play modded Minecraft, don't just take this at face value, please do listen, but modded Minecraft is not that great. There are a sizable number of people that are like, yeah, I love modded Minecraft and modded Minecraft only, but if that's you, I think you don't really like Minecraft to begin with. Minecraft modded is actually a surprisingly fun thing. I do it very little because I love the base game so much, but I think that it's really great if there's a niche feature you really want to try out. Every time I look at the blue ice boating in mods, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like some fun. Every time you play a weird server game, you're effectively playing modified Minecraft, and that is actually pretty great. When you take some small modifications, you actually can make a game a lot better, and that's why the modding scene is so successful in so many places, and occasionally you can modify the game entirely and get something much better, but most Minecraft mods that people rave about almost entirely change the game. They go really far down the deep end, they make 5 times as much content as Minecraft, but almost none of it is actually polished. And people who play these content packs have to learn so much stuff, and then they switch pack next week, and then it's all gone again. This is something that has always bugged me, like, what is the point of learning today's pack of the week, because by next week it's going to be different. In reality, it's actually every year or so, the entire major pack shift, but I remember when I started YouTube, the pack everyone spoke about was Tekkit, it, and then I remember a year later it was like, yeah, Hexit is going to be the modded pack forever, but I feel like those games effectively don't exist anymore. No one would know what I was talking about if I spoke about them, and that's kind of the same with modded Minecraft now. It has no longevity. It might be a fun experience in the here and now for some people. It's not that it's bad for everyone, but it just doesn't have the staying power, the polish, or really the progression that makes Minecraft so great, in my opinion. Speaking of making Minecraft great, to really maybe ruffle some more feathers, it's worth saying I don't think that starting a new Minecraft world is the most fun thing to do, and the fact that there are so... I know this is hypocritical. I'm someone who has over 1,000 Minecraft worlds that I've started, but I don't think starting new world after new world after new world after new world is the most fun way to play the game, and in fact, I think that almost everyone who does so would enjoy it so much more if the next time they got back into Minecraft, they went into one of their existing worlds and either started in a new area or continued on the new challenges. I think many people, because of the nature of Minecraft, where you have to work out the challenges in the game from outside of it, you have to learn the game by seeing YouTube or wikis or anything like that, I think because so many people are in this little bubble, they think that once you get a beacon, like we mentioned earlier, or once you get something like this, that you're kind of done with the game. Some people think the game is far too long, some people think it's far too short, and people who think it's far too short go, yeah, once you've got about 4 hours into a Minecraft world, what more is there to do? You've defeated the Wither, so you start again. You would have so much fun if you just stuck with a world and kept coming back in and week out and seeing what you could add to your existing world. Make a big project that gives you flexibility and you'll have a lot of fun with it. Just please, give it a try. I know what I'm saying here. I'm saying don't play modded Minecraft where you modify everything, and then I'm also saying don't keep playing the same worlds again, but these two opinions are the same. If you kept playing the same 4 hours of Minecraft, you'd think you have to mod it to play it interestingly, but really Minecraft is beautiful because unlike every other game, when you play it for longer and longer, you're not just doing the same thing again and again and again, you're doing slightly different things and building on what you've done before in a way that makes it the most beautiful game, and it's the reason that so many people have thousands of hours. I have tens of thousands of hours of Minecraft at this point, and I regret precisely none of them. Sorry, had to cool down even more before these next ones, because these are the hottest of the hot takes, and I'll just start it out by saying, let's be real, Mojang should charge for updates. Minecraft giving us updates for free has been a disaster, and that sounds like a crazy thing to say. That sounds like I'm an eccentric billionaire that has nothing better to do than to start paying for diamond-encrusted Minecraft updates, but no, I do think that Mojang should charge for updates, because right now the incentive system seems to be all out of whack. Mojang has very little care about making Minecraft updates big and amazing and special. Ever since the Nether update, where they really revolutionized the part of the game, they've started toning down things a little bit. Maybe you could just say it's the pandemic, but I would say it's the entire incentive system. Until Minecraft has a decent competitor, that would be one big incentive, they need to have some money incentive, and that has to, in my opinion, be charging for updates. If you had to pay $5 for this set of features, or rather, I think because that's the common way that you'd say charge for updates, I don't think they'd make much money that way. I think instead, give out 80% of a Minecraft update for free and say if you want some big new feature, it becomes part of some DLC pack. Make it, like you can have the season pass, so you can do some ridiculous concept like that. And I know it sounds bad, but 4J Studios proved best with the minigame concept that they made a whole brand new game mode from scratch. It's based on, honestly, let's be real, it's based on the Hunger Games or... What's the legal version of that called?
Survival games.
Yeah, that is what they were knocking off, basically. But people loved it, and they made it so much better than any battle minigame, any survival game server out there by integrating it into the game. And they made it entirely free and just said, oh yeah, you could pay for some maps later. And they made hundreds of thousands, from selling maps to people for a free minigame. Do the same with a Minecraft update. Say, here are the trial chambers, but if you want this additional Nether variant, that's going to cost you a couple of dollars, and you would have so many people willingly shelling out, and all the people who didn't would still be excited to see what was going on and would maybe one day consider that, and even better, you could then make it after a certain number of years, it becomes free anyway. I think that Minecraft having some form of update that isn't just, oh yeah, it's the same free game that we're just going to keep giving you forever, would give them the right incentive structure, and it failing the, in the absence of a competitor, which is what we really want, Hytale is still years and years away because they're realizing that Minecraft's a big game. The other alternative that's coming out from another studio is also looking like it's years and years away. Minecraft needs competition or they're never going to innovate, and, they're going to innovate in the sense of, oh yeah, we've got ourselves a camel, but is that enough innovation? You tell me. Finally, the hottest take of all, the one that I think a lot of you are going to be upset with, but that I think the community needs to hear me out on, is that there is one item that is more OP than the rest and needs to be nerfed, or honestly, needs to be removed from the game altogether. I don't feel this strongly about a lot of things. I believe that almost everything in Minecraft can be fixed by bringing down its power value, but I personally think that there is one item that just needs to be whole cloth removed. It's not the Totem of Undying. That is a powerful item, but you could just bring down the spawn rates for that. Instead, it is the shield. The shield is so insanely OP. In fact, I think that the thing they got wrong with the combat update was not the timing of the combat and everything, it was the fact that you needed a shield to do previously what could be done with a sword. It sounds cool on paper, sure, look, I'm blocking things and it's so fun, but 100% damage reduction? And all you're gonna do is crouch on Bedrock or hold the right mouse button on Java? Seriously? 100% damage resistance for free, basically? And all you need is to put, your iron in there. It's so cheap to make. It's so powerful. And why do they let this exist? Well, because it's always been there. And by the way, it's not just that it's so OP and needs to be removed for that reason, it's also the fact that it takes up this amount of your screen. Something being really powerful gives you two options. Either don't use it and be behind, or use it and you're stuck in just one option. But it's worse in Minecraft because if you use a shield, this much of your screen is covered. I imagine watching this video, but it looks like this the entire time. You would be rightfully angry at me and you'd say, Toycat, could you drop this please? I kind of want to see you from the edge of that, but in Minecraft it's entirely acceptable for people to do this. There are texture packs out there that remove the shield, many of them, almost every good one. Why does it have to be this way? Why does so much of my screen have to be shield? The answer is it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't be so powerful, and indeed, the giant screen taking up is just such an ugly countermeasure. Most people don't care, but as someone who likes to look around in their Minecraft world, I care, and I'm mad. Remove the shield, damn it. Actually, if you think about it, this is kind of like a good shield. Remove the shield, get it out of here, and thank you for watching, because this has been my hottest takes. What are yours? Let me know in the comments down below. And look forward to reading down there and seeing some spicy stuff. But yeah, I need to cool down entirely, so thank you for watching. And that didn't work how I thought it would. I thought there'd be... thank you for watching. I'm very wet now, and I'll be wet. Sorry, I meant to say if you subscribe to the channel, I'll appreciate it a lot, and I will dry off for you.